You're getting ready for a lot of exciting things coming up, and I know your fans have been so excited since you announced on all your socials here your brand new album that's coming out called Blue in the Sky on February 11th. You must just be ecstatic about this one.
I am. Yeah, this has been a long time coming. We've had the album completed for a couple months, so I'm just excited to finally get to talk about it. It's an accumulation of a couple years of writing and listening to other songs that my songwriting friends have written for me, and the journey of what was going on in my life and how we were doing it was completely unique from all the albums before this one.
So when you go back to listen to the albums when they're completed, do some of those memories come back to mind as you're listening to the albums?
For certain, yeah. A lot of times when I'm listening, though, I'm critiquing, right? I'm splitting hairs on production. I love the production side of recording, and when we start, there's nothing, and I want to make sure it's as great as we possibly can make it before we put it out into the world. So a lot of times I'm critiquing it that way. But yeah, these songs all come from an honest place. I was we were taking off the road in 2020 and didn't know what was going to happen. My girlfriend moved in with me. We started doing life together, and first time I had a roommate in a long time. But we were at home and getting to hang with friends and doing life out on the water and the farm a lot. And then went through a breakup and got through those weeds, and then embraced, my friends again, and got, you get back, put your boots back on and get back out there. And so all of those things happen in this album cycle of writing, creating. And I think all those things shine through here and there.
And speaking of friends, you got a couple friends that are pairing up with you on this album on some songs too.
Yes, yeah, we do. Of course, Mackenzie Porter and I had Think About You together, and then we released a song on my birthday in 21 called Tequila on a Boat with my good buddy Chris Lane, who he excels at drinking tequila on boats. So that was an easy ask. And then fast forward, and we have Hunt and Land with Riley Green, and he's one of the most avid hunters that I know, besides myself in country music. So it was a no-brainer to give Riley a shot whenever I wrote that song to see if he'd want to sing it with me.
That's awesome. Some great compilations there with guests featuring you and friends featuring you on these songs. Like you had mentioned with Canada's very own Mackenzie Porter. I was actually just talking to her this week, and she said, as a Canadian artist, to be sharing a number one with someone like you has just been a complete honor for her.
She's wonderful. I mean, we wouldn't have it if it wasn't for Mackenzie. So I'm not going to take all the credit. It became one of my fastest rising hits of my career, and of course, it was literally record setting for myself and my record label, and being a 6-week number one. So the only thing that's changed is Mackenzie was a part of it. So I think she's to blame for a lot of that.
Now I heard you had a blind audition to find the perfect match for that song, right?
I did. Yeah. We just submitted to the Nashville community. Hey, if you have a young, female artist that can release a song during this window of time, we'd love to hear you do a version of Think About You. Email this link. I had my team remove all the names from that link and those submissions and just listen to the song. I didn't want to be persuaded if I knew who they were or not, and kept coming back to this version over and over again. And it was Mackenzie's version. So here we are.
That's awesome. Yeah. In 6 weeks at number one on the Billboard charts. That's just absolutely amazing.
It really is. That's unheard of this day and age, and it really soaked in. We do an annual event called the Opry Hunt with Opry members, and to land at that event, and we walked into the reception, and all these artists that I look up to came up to me and were congratulating me on how awesome the song was and how huge of a deal 6-week number one is. That's when it hit me like, whoa, okay, people have realized and noticed. Just because it's me and Mac we're not on tour at the time. And so we're not seeing that reaction of the fans really that much. And since then, of course, she's been out on the road and putting up those performances every night of the crowd, screaming it back to her. I'm just loving it. And I can't wait to get back out on tour and hear it for myself.
Now, I heard you actually got to crash a performance with her at the Whiskey Jam, right?
I did. Yes. Yeah. She was playing the Whiskey Jam, and I wasn't sure I was going to be back to Nashville. I was in Texas having some fun, and but made it back to Nashville in time and jumped up there. And the Whiskey Jam was started by one of my good buddies, a couple buddies of mine, but one very good friend that we kind of came up through Nashville together. He started playing at the bars when I did, and he had this idea of starting Whiskey Jam. That was 11 years ago that night that me and Mackenzie got up there. So I was pumped to be there for that. I had no idea going into it that it was their 11-year anniversary, but a big milestone for my bud and what he's built for the creative community here in town. And it seems like a rite of passage now that you have to play that to be in the game here in Nashville, and you want to. I mean, it's a wonderful, magical spot where so much talent has come through and kind of found themselves as they've played those shows.
So taking a step back here, Dustin, to your brand new album that's coming out on February 11th, if you had to choose, I know this is a tough question always, if you had to choose one favorite, what would your favorite on the entire album be?
Man.
Or top three if it makes it easier.
Yeah. I love how Party Mode makes me feel. I always have, even since the demo, which is why I first played it for a group of friends on my boat, because I was kind of digging on it. And it got a reaction that I was not expecting, because they're hard on me, as they should be. And so I love that one. I can't wait to see that one live, just because I think it's going to be, it's got good vibes. I think people are going to dance to it and have fun to it. Something that makes you smile is my mom's favorite. So I got to say that one. I think that song came to me in my life for a reason at a certain time. It came in right at the last minute before we went in to record. And there was a lot of pressure around that song because so many artists wanted to record it. And, luckily the songwriters were okay with me doing it. So I'm super happy for them and that. A third one, gosh, I would say probably Tennessee Trouble I like a lot, just because it's kind of it's a story about early days of traveling to Knoxville, Tennessee, and playing shows and just the newness of that, experiencing those things for the first time. I think Tennessee Trouble really shines a light on me as a young artist and a young songwriter trying to figure things out, and certain characters that came cross paths with me back then.
So when it comes to putting a whole album together, what is one of your favorite parts of the whole process?
Well, I think it's the reaction of me feeling songs for the first time after we do a demo or a work tape when we write, but also just randomly playing songs and paying attention to who's on the boat or who's, in the basement or out at the farm hanging. Cause I'll throw in new songs that people aren't expecting and get a genuine reaction from my friends on, what songs are kind of rising to the top or not. That's my favorite part, because we never know. If we knew this would be a lot easier thing to pull off. But, we try to write the best songs we can. And then certain ones just keep raising their hand and people ask for them over and over again to want to hear them. And that's a fun thing, because then you go, this one's special. Okay, cool. We'll put that on the short list.
That's awesome. And when it comes to celebrating this brand new music, how are you going to celebrate the new release of this album?
Well, we're going to be celebrating it by touring. Of course, we're headed out on the Party Mode tour, so that we'll tour right behind this release. The month of March is going to be a lot of rehearsing for that tour. We've got a pretty good handle on the show already, but a lot goes into putting a show together top to bottom as far as embracing what Party Mode is. I want to make this show super loose and fun and just really embrace the party of it. So we've got a lot of tricks up our sleeve, and I think people are going to have fun and be surprised when they get to this show and come see this tour of how interactive it is.
Well, and I know too from seeing from your fans' experience and stuff and seeing you perform up here in Canada quite a few times over the years, they always love your show because it's always just so high energy.
We take pride in that. I think it's our responsibility to provide a place for people to escape and have fun and dance and make memories and get drunk. It's all good.
What's been one of your favorite concerts that you've gone to in the last while?
Oh, wow. See, this is one thing I literally was thinking about on the drive in this morning in the studio. I was going, I've got to get better at looking at who's playing in Nashville, because I come off the road and forget that people come through and play, on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday sometimes. I'm trying to think. The most recent concert I went to would have been Laney. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're a band that I came across years and years ago, and they're in that fun kind of building slot right now where they're playing some bigger venues in certain markets and small venues in certain markets. But that's the last show I went to. And I know there's songs front to back. So I'm singing along to every song, but also I've got my phone out taking notes along the way because it's a completely different genre. And Paul's a great performer. So I learn a lot from all other artists, but that's definitely a band that I'm hyped about right now.
Definitely. And of course, too, I heard you're keeping busy not only with the new music, but you're also in the process of getting your pilot license.
I am. Yeah. I'm working at my pilot license. It's I thought it'd be a little bit easier than it is, just timing wise with my schedule. You look at the calendar, you go, I've got a lot of time in January and February, and then here we are. And it seems like all these days are getting chewed up by other things, but we're going to continue to stay the course. I'm really close to getting my private pilot license knocked out. I just got to behave and do my homework like my instructor tells me. And then once I do that, I'll move on to my instrument rating, which is very important to me just because I want to be able to fly in all conditions and be very safe. So it's just about practicing and continuing to stay that course. So yeah, I think I've got a good hard goal of having all that done before this summer. And once I do that, then it's the world is free to travel. One thing I've realized, whenever you have your private pilot's license, you can go a lot more places. You're not stuck to just the big commercial airports. So the world becomes a lot bigger. There's a lot more adventure out there.
Where's going to be one of the first places that you fly out to when you get your pilot's license?
Well, 100%, I'll go down to my hometown. It's not, I think it's like 16 minutes in my plane. And so I'll go down there and grab dinner with the family, mom and dad. My nephew's in basketball right now, so I'll go catch some basketball games of his, and just an easy way to get down and back, a fun way and it's beautiful. Flying low in general aviation, there's nothing like it.
Exactly. And also, I know that you're a big fan of the outdoors. You love hunting. What's your favorite kind of hunting? Because I know here in the prairies where I am, everybody loves going out hunting.
Yeah, so you guys probably I'm assuming have some mule deer out that way.
We do lots.
Yeah, that's on the list. I've never done that. Mackenzie actually, her dad, I met him at the Opry at her Grand Ole Opry debut, and he invited me to come mule deer hunting on their ranch. So that's on the list to do. I would say the bucket list hunt I haven't got to do yet, but is in the works very soon. Is I love to archery hunt. That's my main focus. But I've never got to hunt elk with a bow, so I want to do that. Mostly what I eat out of my freezer is elk. So I just love going. I love the pursuit of all animals, but I love the pursuit of dinner, and providing for myself and my family and my friends. And elk is an easy way to do that because they're so dang big. I can feed a lot of people with one.
What's your favorite meal to make with elk meat then?
I could eat tacos every day of the week. So elk tacos would have to be my favorite thing to do with it. But, I've gotten a lot better at grilling. So any sort of backstrap or tenderloin or anything like that, I can grill is good. But yeah, I would say if I've got a big group coming over, it's going to be ground elk. We're doing tacos.
There you go. And one more question. Of course, we're coming up to Valentine's Day, and I know that you have a song that everybody loves to request here. Valentine's Day comes around with Cowboys and Angels. So I want to talk a little bit about that song and the inspiration for it. I know it has a really cool story behind it.
Yeah. So it inspired by my grandparents' love story. They're high school sweethearts. I'm losing count. I think they've been married 66 years, 67 years at this point. And just two of the greatest people on earth. It's literally, they're the roadmap of how to do life. And so that was inspired by them. And I had no idea it would go on to be a hit song. I just wanted to do something special for my grandma and granddad. So it's really cool that here we are. It's 10 years old now. And people are still wanting to hear it and sing it back every night at our show. It's a very special moment.
Definitely, especially because it has that family connection for you too. It probably just puts it on like a whole other level for you.
It definitely does. It allows me to think about them every single night. They're a part of the show every single night. And that's just great energy. So it's such a special moment for us to play. It's definitely my favorite moment of the show every night.
What was their reaction when you first had this song put out for them and like let them listen to it?
They're some of my biggest fans and so sweet. They keep up with me. Thank goodness. I mean, Facebook, they don't miss anything, right? They're on top of things before I know about them. So they were super thrilled and surprised. And of course we were all very emotional whenever Cowboys and Angels was released to radio. Hearing your song on the radio for the first time is an unbelievable experience. And I was lucky enough to be The second time I heard it I was in actually my dad's truck. We were riding around town, and so mom and dad were in the truck, and we all teared up. I mean, it's just a big deal. So, of course, they're ecstatic, and it's special that they are the Cowboy and the Angel.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm sure that they're probably very ecstatic about this brand new album, too, coming out February 11th, Blue in the Sky. Is there anything that you want to say to your fans out here in Canada?
Yes, we are coming back, and so ready to come party with you guys. This new show, the Party Mode Tour, is going to be electric. So pack your coolers and get there early to pregame.
Awesome. Well, Dustin, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with me here today. I know our listeners are going to love hearing from you.
Thanks, Courtney. Talk soon.